Hey there, folks. How you doing? I'm going to take some time out, not every day, but every other day or so, to just do some posts, some videos about election matters for the next couple of weeks as we're going into this final presidential election. There's a lot of people who don't vote often, which shame on you for not voting often, but you may not vote a lot, and you don't remember how to vote or what are the mechanisms of voting. So I'm going to try to get some information out there for you. So one of the things that I'm going to try to talk about today, I'm going to talk about absentee ballots. Let's say, general election is November 8th, and you're in New York State, and you don't know, you're not going to be in town. You're going to be out of your home county. Then you have to get an absentee ballot. Well, how do you get one of those? Well, you contact your local county board of elections. If you're in Onondaga County, you can go right on our website, ongov.net/elections. And you can go to the absentee ballot tab, print out an absentee ballot form, mail it in to us. As long as you mail it in before November 1st, we will mail you a ballot. And then you can fill it out in the privacy of your own home and send it on back to us. Now, when you send that ballot back, it has to be done by November 7th, postmarked by November 7th, the day before the election, or dropped off at a polling place on November 8th, on election day. Dropped off physically. It can't be mailed on November 8th. If you postmark it on November 8th, then it will not be counted. Or if it's postmarked after November 8th, it will not be counted. So November 7th is the day to postmark a ballot by. Now you may say, what qualifies you to get an absentee ballot? Well, that's pretty simple. What qualifies you is that you have to be out of the county on election day. That's November 8th. Or you can be infirmed, where you're handicapped, disabled, sick, and you just can't leave your house to go to a polling place. So, and it's pretty easy. The form is very liberal now in New York State. All you have to do is check a box saying you're going to be either out of the county or infirmed, and you can get an absentee ballot. So, what else? Oh, well, what happens after November 1st? Let's say November 1st comes along, and you then find out that you have to leave the county on November 8th. What do you do then? Well, then you've got to come down to your local board of elections and come down and pick up the ballot. You can fill out an absentee ballot application right in the office and pick up your ballot. And by the way, you can do that now as well. If you don't want to go through the mailing, if you want to come down to our office, 1000 Erie Blvd West, we will give you an absentee ballot application, and you can vote right then and there and be done with it. But again, you have to be swearing that you're going out of town on November 8th or unable to travel to your polling place. Now, one last thing. What if you do an absentee ballot and then you find out that you're in town on election day? What do you do then? Well, that's pretty simple. If you are doing that then you need to go to the poll place where you're supposed to go and vote. In the book, you will be, a little A will be next to your name. And the inspector will realize that, call our office, and let us know to pull your absentee ballot. So, if you vote on election day, your absentee ballot won't count. So, and also, what happens if you decide to change your vote? Let's say you have an absentee ballot today, and then something happens between now and election day, and somebody did something that makes you decide that you're not going to vote. Well, there a vote for that person, or vote for somebody else. You can also request a second ballot, and come down to our office, request a second ballot, and we will pull your original ballot. Now, people wonder, oh, well, if I vote by absentee, they don't count absentee ballots, and that's just not true. We count every ballot at the boards of elections in New York State, every ballot, every year, and that's pretty much the same throughout the country. Now, on election night, many races will not be so close. They're not going to be within the margin of error of the machines, and people will say, oh, well, you're not going to count those ballots. No, we will count them. We count them 13 days later. which allows for ballots to be brought into us by the mail that have been postmarked on November 7th or before, but received by our boards after. We will always, always, always count those ballots. However, in the case of a close race, obviously the campaigns and candidates will be watching us count those ballots. So we're under an observation with outside observers when it's a very close race. And there are always close races in Onondaga County, in pretty much any county. Every year I've been commissioner, the last 4 years, we've had 2, 3, 4 races a year that have been within the margin of victory on election night. There's not enough separating the top 2 that we have to count the absentee ballots before we can declare a winner. And again, we count them every time, but then those are when we're under observation. So your vote counts, whether you're voting by absentee or voting on a regular machine at your polling place. This is what I wanted to talk about today, was absentee ballots. Now, what I want to hear from you guys is, are there any other things that you want me to talk about? Any other kind of election-related matters? And maybe I'll do a video on those between now and November 8th. I just ask that you remember to go out and vote. Registration deadline is already passed, so make sure you go out and vote this election and every election. Now, I'm losing battery on my phone, so I'm going to say goodbye now. But if there's anything you want to know about election-related matters, put a comment in the video, and I'll see if I can do another video a little later on. All right? Remember, get out there and vote this election year. The election is November 8th in New York State, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you're not in New York State, contact your local county board of elections with any election-related matter, because they'll be able to help you out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.